Make sure you're following Seeking Center, the podcast, so you never miss an episode of life-changing conversations, aha moments, and some deep soul wisdom. I'm Robin Miller Brecker.
And I'm Karen Lenzer. Welcome to Seeking Center, the podcast.
Join us each week as we have the conversations and weed through the spiritual and holistic clutter for you. We'll boil it down to what you need to know now.
We're all about total wellness, which to us means building a healthy life on a physical, mental, and spiritual level. We'll talk to the trailblazers who will introduce you to the practices, products, and experiences that may be just what you need to hear about to transform your life.
If you're listening to this, it's no accident. Think of this as your seeking center and your place to seek your center. And for the best wellness and spiritual practitioners, experts, products, experiences, and inspo, visit theseekingcenter.com. Hi, everyone. We're so glad you're here. Today, we're tapping into the magic of tarot with our soul sister and tarot therapist, Michelle Nolan. Michelle's here to share July's energetic forecast. Get ready for insights, aha moments, and maybe even a little cosmic spark. Let's dive in. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Robin. How you doing?
Oh, we're ready to talk tarot and see what you have in store for all of us. So let's jump in.
Yeah, let's just jump in. I always like to open any type of channeling and session, and I recommend that for everybody actually as they're learning, just to get grounded and to open that channel. So I'm going to say, Spirit, please open the channel. Please allow me to have clear and concise messages for this group, and please allow them to have an open heart and open mind to receive these messages. And as always, we thank you for your guidance and your protection and your connection today. So let's see where we're at in July. Okay, so immediately I am getting much different energy that I was getting in the end of June. I remember there was a little bit of this grounded energy, this earth placement energy, as we were like getting to work, as we were moving out of June and into July. And so what I'm seeing here in the beginning of July is we're getting a lot of Wands energy. Okay, I'm getting the Two of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Temperance card. So when I get that, this Two of Wands is a beautiful card. This kind of tells me here's the start of the race. If you want to think of this, it's the opening. It's the road that we're just beginning to go down. Now, when I get a Two of Wands energy, it still gives me an energy of requiring a choice, because there's always a choice with all energies, and we can choose to align with it or choose to discard it for now, maybe take a harder road and not align with the flow of things. But when I get this Two of Wands energy, that really tells me that we're in a go mode. It feels like start mode. It feels like I'm almost even getting a racing kind of vibes, like 3, 2, 1, go. And with that energy, I'm getting this Ace of Wands. This is like the green light. So if we're thinking about the beginning of July being this green light, let's go kind of energy, it's very fiery, it's very loud, it's very assertive, but more I'm getting the energy that I'm feeling is in such a fun, uplifting kind of way. This is exciting. This is enthusiastic. This is very ambitious energy, because it's not, when we get Wands energy, it's all about changes, but it is always about the choice of the change. It's about deciding to open up to this new path. It's about deciding to seize the moment. It's about deciding to go all in on something. So I'm feeling this really positive, enthusiastic energy for July, which I love, because at the end of June, when we started to ground things, and I think we had in June, Karen, you can chime in here if you remember, but we had a little bit of back and forth hesitating about what we're really going to do, what's really the next step. And then when we finally made that choice, it was like, okay, let's get down to work. So this is like getting out of your head almost now. We're getting out of our head because we're in July in Cancer energy. Before we were in Gemini energy. Now that we're in Cancer energy, it should flow. Okay. That's water energy. It should flow. We shouldn't be like, once you get to the start of a race, right? You just roll with the pace of things and you just are in it. So when I get this Two of Wands, Ace of Wands, and then at the end of this kind of beginning of this month, we are saying the Temperance card, where this is, again, aligning with a flow. If we think of ourselves as part of a pack in a race, we don't want to be too slow. We don't want to go too fast. We want to stay the pace, right? But still have enough energy to maintain that as we're moving forward. So it's super enthusiastic energy. But the Temperance card also tells me that there's a little bit of it's not just I'm feeling like an alignment of energy, but it's like we've learned how to set our pace, to set our right pace on things. So if we think of ourselves, if I'm going to use that analogy, because when I get an analogy, I like to stick with it. But like when we use that analogy of racing, we know when we're pushing ourselves too hard, and we also know when we are holding back. So if you think of this beginning of this month as like finding what your right pace is, to have the momentum to go forward, but also to energize yourself when it's needed on a self-care approach or on pulling back some energy and saving some energy for yourself so that you know that you have to keep that momentum. Because when we get this Two of Wands right in the beginning of the month, it's telling us we have a long road ahead, right? If we look at this, we're not looking at it like, oh, we're towards the end of this race. We're at the beginning of it. So it's exciting, but we want to be able to pace ourselves a little bit. That's how I'm feeling about the very, very start of this month. In the kind of heart of this month, we're getting the Eight of Cups and the Seven of Wands crossed by the 10 of Cups and the Six of Swords. This Eight of Cups energy to this Seven of Wands energy, and then to this Six of Swords. Okay, this is the heart of July. And we're crossing, when I've seen like a challenging card, the 10 of Cups. So what I'm sensing here in the middle of the heart of this energy is that Eight of Cups is still hanging out from last month. Remember, we had that, Karen, too. And there's always this kind of go between when we're always checking in with ourselves. Have we dropped the baggage? Again, I'm going to go back to this analogy about a race. Is your car fast enough? Have we gotten rid of some of the baggage? Can we lighten some loads? Because we want to move fast now. Like we're not in this energy of debate anymore. We're not in this energy of, I'm still thinking about things. I'm still determining what direction I'm going into. We've picked the path. So if we're in this now, when we think of this Eight of Cups in the heart of the reading, we don't want to add more weight or baggage to this new road. We don't want to. Because when I get this heart of this reading here, with this Seven of Wands, this is really strong conviction and determination. This is like, I am determined to move forward. I am determined to drop the baggage and the weight, because the crossing of this is the 10 of Cups. Now, I love this, Karen. I hope you remember this. And Robin, maybe you'll remember this from the 2025 total forecast, is the heart of this third quarter was all about this 10 of Cups, right? It was all about being in the energy, and Cups energy is emotional. This is the emotional, intuitive space that we harness. And when it's challenged in the 10 of Cups, it's telling us that we have to always check in with ourselves about staying in that optimistic mindset, saying to myself, I can win at this race. I can do what I set out myself, the goals that I've set out myself for. I can be in this mindset of wanting more, wanting bigger, wanting better, and staying in that law of attraction mindset, that if that is the mindset that we take on, that's what we're attracting. Because with this Six of Swords here, that's right, still in that heart of the reading, we haven't gotten there yet. It's like we're still in this transitional place of being really comfortable with letting things pass us that's supposed to pass us, and staying in the mindset of optimism and positivity. We're almost like we're not that great at it yet. It's like we're a newbie on the track. We don't have the full confidence, but we know where we're headed and we know what we're supposed to be doing. So if we think of this heart of the reading as always checking in with yourself and saying, I want to feel how I know I'm supposed to feel. I want to feel like what's deserving of me to feel. And that is true happiness, fulfillment, optimism, and thinking where we're headed in the future going forward is filled with that. It's the compass, it's the navigation tool. But I can see here with this Eight of Cups still hanging out is that we always have to lighten our load along the way. Always. We have to drop the emotional baggage. We have to drop the weight of other people or situations or any type of internal patterns or struggles that we have, and let it go, because we can't move forward with all that weight. It just doesn't work. So we're like trying to build ourselves for speed at this point. That's the whole point. Think of yourself like that racer trying to build your car for the speed of the momentum of going forward. So although very centered around this 10 of Cups energy, all centered around the mindset and the feeling of positivity and what's ahead. So as we move towards the end of July, I am getting this Four of Pentacles, this Five of Swords, and the Magician card. The Ten of Cups, just let me, since that is in the heart of this reading here and it's in the challenge. As humans, we are not perfect. We are not perfect at thinking 100% optimistically about our future and our situations, our goals, where we want to go. So we have a tendency with this Four of Pentacles to hold on to things that really shouldn't be part of that Ten of Cups energy. So if you think of we're restricting ourselves by this kind of like limiting our thoughts, limiting our goals, restricting our kind of behaviors and the patterns that are involved there, that's not allowing us to be completely abundant. We're restricting ourselves to a point of, I've never thought I could dream this big. I never thought I could go for something much larger in my life than I've been doing. I never thought I could get the better relationship, the better job, the better house, the better anything better, really. Like you're thinking in terms of a very limited mindset. And that is natural. We're human. Our brain is accustomed to patterns. And once we hit that ceiling, we think, oh, that's as much as I can get or as much as I can do. But this is a reminder kind of at the end of July with this Five of Swords and the Magician, that if we still stay in the mindset and in the vibration of a limiting pattern or a restrictive thinking, that's exactly what we're going to attract. So it's almost like Spirit's reminding us that when it comes to spiritual energy and just energy at large, it is limitless. It's boundaryless. It's boundless. So if we think of that, and it's such a hard thing for us humans to wrap our head around, but if we think of that and we still try to push ourselves past the ceiling that we are used to, then that's what we're constantly leveling up to and attracting. Because at the end of this month, with the Magician card, when I get Magician card, this is manifestation energy. So think of all the tools, all the energy, all of the everything that you're putting out into the world externally, all the things you've learned, all the gifts you have, every experience that you've gone through. If whatever you're putting out into the world is what you're receiving back, particularly at the end of July. So if you are putting out a limitless way of thinking and being, then you are going to attract more beyond what you've imagined. So that is the point of this whole, I would say, racetrack at this point. It's how fast can you really go? How big can you really dream? How bold can you really be?
Whew, that is some good stuff. I also want to say too that I happened to tape with Stevie yesterday for the astrology of July, and there is so much crossover. There is,
Yeah.
yes,
Awesome.
especially in mid-July, where you talked about this kind of reflection, some of the reflection points, Mercury retrograde on July 18th. And so I thought there was so much, even in what we talk about with Stevie and everything that you've just said.
Yeah, because this Five of Swords towards the end, this always talks to me about either mistakes or hiccups, or when I talk in a psycho-spiritual kind of way, so patterns of behavior that kind of limit us in thinking like we have to do it that way this time. And it's really a spiritual reminder to say, no, we can do something new this time. We can do something different this time. We don't have to remain in that same space.
Yeah.
And it also reminds me, Michelle, like last month, you talked a lot about how, like it or not, forced or unforced, many of us went through a lot of really tough stuff in the May, June timeframe. We're coming out of that now, but you said, I remember at the end of June, we might have people like questioning, are you sure you made the right choice? Are you sure that's really what you wanted to do? There was a lot of that kind of shadowy stuff coming back. So the energy for July feels, and Robin and I were talking about it earlier, we were we're feeling almost this frenetic franticness.
Yeah, it's a fire. It's fire
Yeah,
energy.
it does. You
Right
feel
off.
that. There's momentum, no matter where that is in your life, but there's momentum in
It's
something.
coming from so many different, and so almost that battle of, oh my God, what do I do first? What do I pay attention to?
Yes.
Where do I go? And then this whole idea of I'm feeling a little bit of maybe that we're human beings, right? We're learning, we're trying to grow, but that doesn't mean we're going to be always growing. There's going to be moments where we're going to be stepping back and into our old patterns, because that can be a comfort zone for us when things are frenetic and fast. So I feel like you're reminding us of that even though like we're off to the races, as you were saying, there's going to be those moments where we may have those little hiccups, or we may double back into our old ways of doing things. And that's okay, but it's just a normal part of the process.
And since that was a headier energy, this doesn't feel heady to me, this whole energy. This feels like be okay with getting messy and making the mistakes. Be okay with going fast and learning through it and just making bold choices instead of overthinking now. Because I think that's what June was for, the kind of waffling and the back and forth. What do I want to do? Do I leave? Do I go? Do I stay? All the things that you run through your brain. But then when you're in go mode, you allow yourself, give yourself kind of the independence to make mistakes along the way.
You're going to be shocked by when you hear, I think Stevie uses some of the same language.
Yeah, we're like the same brain.
I know, it's that whole validation, right? No matter what, you're so in tune with the energy, as is she. And that's just, even the same words are used. That's what's incredible.
When tarot for me is supposed to spark or trigger a kind of like an idea for you or a feeling for you or even a memory sometimes, to resonate with it, because that's your intuition saying, hey, pay attention to what I was just thinking about, in resonating with what I was saying.
One more question. I know you did a really good job of saying, okay, this Wands energy is change and Cups energy is emotion, but what with Pentacles?
So Pentacles, and we only really have one in here, which is interesting. That is comfort zone energy. This is Four of Pentacles is that box that I was talking about being like limited or doing things in an old way. Pentacles energy is earth. So if we think of anything that has value in our 3D life, that's really earth energy. It's slow moving. It's very tangible. A lot of times it has to do with, sometimes not all the time, but finances or very 3D stuff. So real world stuff. So if we're talking about our home, our job, where we actually live. So it's very 3D. We can see and touch it. But as far as an energy goes in this Four of Pentacles, this is something that has been held on to some kind of structure, because it's fours are very stable. But when I'm getting this together with, this is how you read tarot, looking at it as a story. When I'm getting it with the Five of Swords, it's telling us that's not serving anymore. That comfort zone isn't serving. That stability isn't what we need to do. Sometimes we need to break stability to go through change. And it's important that we're doing that now.
Michelle, thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel so much better, actually, having an understanding. And I will say that July forecast for Karen, it's like you were listening. We were talking.
And it's so fun to like ride behind your speeding train as you go through these parts.
I know, it was fast. It feels like it's like excited energy.
But you did a great job, and I think gave us a really good, real serious outline for what we can expect. And I like how we landed on the Magician at the end of the month, that manifestation energy. So no matter what we have to go through, we got that as our North Star. So thanks.
Exactly. So the bigger believer you are, the bigger dreamer you are, the bigger action risk taker you are this month, it will pay off at the end.
Yay.
We'll report back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for anyone interested in working with Michelle, you can email her at m@mtnolan.com or find her in the community. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to rate and review it wherever you listen to your podcast.
Your feedback helps us grow and continue bringing you the conversations and inspo we all need.
We're grateful to be on the journey together.